Hi, welcome to the Softride video cave. We're going to take the Dura 4 bike rack out of the box. We're going to show you all the parts, where to find them. We'll show you where the instructions are, and we'll tell you a little bit about what you can expect when you put that thing together. Again, that's the Softride Dura 4 bike rack. Here we go. Alright, this is how your Dura rack will probably arrive. If you buy it at a local bike shop, it's going to be all put together and pretty already. But if you bought it on the internet, then you got to take it out of the ugly box. So this will probably have two bands on it, and you can just cut those with some sort of knife. I like that knife. And we'll just throw those away. These aren't supposed to be a handle, but sometimes they end up being a handle, you know, by the shipping companies. So we've got some marks on the box, but otherwise this thing looks okay. So we'll take our box cutter. I think it says handle with care. Do not cut with a knife. That's the product. You can cut the tape, just don't cut anything more than the tape with a knife, I guess. Okay, if you're prone to accidents, you should put some safety glasses on at this point. Cover those eyes up. Alright, here's our Dura 4 bike rack. It comes in a craft box, and then it's got a nice shiny carton on the inside. So sometimes an easy way to get this out is actually to tip it up on its side and then just kind of walk it out of the box. If there's no chance that you'll need to put this thing back in the box, then you can just rip the sides of the outside box, but this is certainly a nice way to do it. Alright, we've got a Dura 4 bike rack here. We're going to take it out of the box. It's already out of its craft box, and looks like there's some tape on this side and probably tape on the bottom. It would be nice if we knew which direction was up or down, but since we don't, we'll just kind of dig in there. I'm going to use a box knife, cut the bottoms out, just the tape pieces. And there's little flaps here. You probably won't be able to see them unless I move this around. Pop those little flaps up. Open this guy up. So we're at the bottom of the bike rack right now. And it's right here. We're just going to pull the whole thing out. The arms will come out on the bottom. Actually, the arms are going to stay in there. This is really nice. Everyone should do it this way. Okay, so once we get that out, we'll kind of lay everything down and get our box out of there. Okay, that's not going to fall over. I'll hold this piece. Wow, there we go. Okay, box is totally empty. There you go. Nothing left in there. We're going to set this aside in case we decide we want to put it back in the box for any reason. Alright, so this package is the arms and the top plate, and we'll just flip it over. Great, everything's there. Here is the main upright of the bike rack. Comes in this nice protective poly bag, I don't know, plastic bag, whatever you want to call it. Be responsible with the disposal of this bag, and it just mostly protects the paint when it's being shipped, I think. There we go. A couple of foam protectors here that keep things from getting bashed up on the hardware. So I'll set this bag aside. Now we've got our Dura rack main upright. Looks like there's also some foam protector pieces here on the pull pin handle. We can just remove that and set it aside. And those are all punched out for the bolt holes. That's bolt holes, not bullet holes. We're in Bellingham, Washington. It's not real rough and tumble here. The only thing that I would want to tell you right now that might be worth noting is that the cable lock, it's installed in the rack already. And sometimes people put the top plate on here without pulling this piece out. They get confused and wonder where the lock is. So the first thing I would do before anything else is just take this lock from the position it was in, which was like this, and tuck down, and just grab that thing and put it back in right there. because once you've got it installed on the vehicle, it's going to come out of here pretty smooth each time you need to use it. But make sure it's out of the way. You're going to bolt the top plate on here, and then your rack will be ready to install on your vehicle. Alright, in here we've got the rack arms. There you go. They're also nicely wrapped up in plastic with a little bit of bubble wrap on the ends, just to keep the plastic caps from getting beat up. So there you go, that's one rack arm. It's got the anti-sway cradles on the sides, the reflectors. This piece goes into the top plate, and straps attached to each of these and to the anti-sway cradles. So we'll set that aside and we'll responsibly discard the plastic bag. Alright, I'm looking for one more rack arm. Looks like we've got it right here. Take that out of its little bag. There you go. Set the plastic bag aside. If you ever back into something and damage this, these pieces are replaceable. You just apply enough force, you can pull them off, and you can call Softride to get a replacement if you ever need to. Or if you drop it on the ground or do something dumb. But yeah, there's the arm. So we've got two arms and the main rack. We just need something to connect them all. And I trust that that is going to be in this box. Yeah, sure enough. So let's just go ahead and cut it open, just because it's a little cleaner. Alright, in here, inside some more bubble wrap, is the top plate. And we'll take it out of its little bubble wrap sleeve. Be careful not to put a big knife cut across the bubble wrap there, because you could put a knife cut in the nice finish of this, and then you'd have a big scratch across the top of your bike rack, and that wouldn't be good. And we would know if you called us and were like, hey, this thing has a big line on it. We'd be like, nah, you cut it with a box knife. And we already told you not to, so don't do that. Alright, so there's your top plate. It's got some spring-loaded auto lock triggers on the back. These are riveted on, so you want to just make sure you take good care of them. Don't bash them around or drop them on the ground on top of the auto locks. So this piece is going to bolt on to the top of the upright, right like this. So you'll use 4 carriage bolts to put that piece on, and before you do so, notice right there how the cable lock is removed from the inside position. That'll allow you to use it. This is the only part that uses a specialized tool. You could probably do it with an adjustable wrench, but to get at these carriage bolts under here, it might be really nice to have a 1/2 inch socket with an extension on it, maybe like a 3-inch socket extension. Maybe we'll grab one of those tools and show you what that looks like. But it looks like all the parts are here, all the big pieces at least. Inside the bag that had the top plate in it, there's a set of 4 bolts. These are carriage bolts is what they're called. That means that one side has a round, I don't know if we'll be able to show it to you, but has a round head with a square shoulder on it, and that square shoulder inserts into the top here and holds in the square notch. So those pieces line up there, and then the nuts to those bolts will go on the underside here, and you'll need to tighten them up kind of in a little tight space. So that's why the extension socket set is recommended. So we've got our top plate bolts. We've got our top plate. Should probably move this out of the way so you can see what's going on here. And bubble wrap we'll set aside with this little box. And there's a heavy kind of, I don't know, it's probably 2-3 inches in diameter box here. This thing weighs like 7 or 8 pounds, so you shouldn't miss it. You shouldn't be able to just toss it out or not notice it. If you're using the 1 1/4 receiver hitch on the back of your vehicle, so the smaller hitch standard, this box you need to keep track of because it's got all the parts to convert this into an 1 1/4 receiver hitch rack. If you're using a 2-inch hitch, then this will work just right out of the box the way you got it. But you'll want to put this in a safe place in case you ever get a smaller car, or you want to loan this to your neighbor and he has a smaller car or she has a smaller car. That smaller hitch kit is here, but this is, you know, it's a pretty substantial piece of hardware, so getting a new one, you know, it probably costs you a pretty penny. So keep track of it, even if you're not using it. And if you're going to get rid of it, recycle it, because there's a lot of steel in there. So we got a bag of parts as well. So we got there are some nuts and bolts in here, and there's some nuts and bolts in here. We'll go through what those are here real quick. Alright, we've cleaned up our workspace a little bit, put away all the trash, and now we'll go through some of the parts that are in here. So if you were working on an 1.25" receiver hitch, we'll go through this really quickly. There is a video up on our YouTube channel and all of our other content sources that goes through this whole kit and how they go together, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I will show you everything that should be in here. There's a threaded nut bar that's zinc plated that would go inside there. There's an 1.25" hitch bar, which is threaded here, and this bolts onto the bottom of the 2-inch hitch bar, creates a little rise. And then in here are the bolts, which attach this piece to this piece. So those 3 M10 bolts are in there, and also the 1/2-inch hitch bolt for the 1.25" hitch spec. So you'll want to keep track of all of these bolts and these heavy pieces of metal if you're ever going to use your bike rack on an 1.25" receiver hitch. If you're using an 1.25" receiver hitch right now, then you need these parts, so keep them handy. So we'll set these aside, discard our cardboard, and then we'll dig into the parts that everyone needs. So here in this bag of parts, there's another bag, a bag inside a bag. Here are your instructions. Okay? They come in French and in English. They include a parts description and a parts list. So there's a drawing there. It talks about parts A and parts B and how they all go together. This is fairly useful. You may want to read these. We also have those posted up on our website. If you find that your rack doesn't come with one of these, or you threw it out and now you're looking for it, go to Softride.com, and under the Dura rack product page you can find these instructions. You can either print them out or just pull them up on your computer and take a look at it while you're working on it. So we've got our instructions. We'll dig into those in a little bit. And here we've got rubber straps. So this particular rack, it comes with 12 rubber straps. So there's 4, and here are 4 more. And you'll just have to trust me, you probably can't see them, but there are 4 more. So we've got all 12 of the straps that we need. That's 3 straps per bicycle, because you've got 2 for the bars, and then 1 for each anti-sway cradle. And there's only 1 anti-sway cradle per bicycle, so you shouldn't be looking for 4 of these on the arm, because you only have 1 seat tube per bicycle, and that's what this contacts. If you're confused about that, I don't know, I think we probably got a video of a bike on a rack. You can take a look at that. This particular bike rack comes with some soft wraps. This is a Softride exclusive product. These are hook and loop straps. They're about 16 inches long, and they're pretty slick. They can be used for all sorts of different things, like making the handlebars on your bikes not wiggle around, or you know, if you lose a rubber strap, you could probably make use of this in place of the rubber strap. They just thread through one another and close up like that. So they're pretty handy. You can get more of them at Softride.com or at your local bike shop. So we'll set those aside. These ones happen to be blue. And then the last thing that I have hiding in here is the hitch lock. And attached to it is the 5/8" hitch bolt. Sometimes people have a hard time knowing where this is or how to attach this. These 2 pieces are connected, so you want to just take them apart. So there is the hitch bolt for the 2-inch bike rack size. Okay, that's 5/8" diameter. There's a corresponding lock washer. This is a very important part of the whole system. So if you're ever in doubt, get a new lock washer, or you know, make sure that this is where you need it to be and that you're utilizing the lock washer, because that keeps your bolt tight. So there's hitch bolt, lock washer, and the hitch lock that goes onto that hitch bolt. And then there's a key set, and on this particular rack, I think that the keys, there are 2 of them, the key number may also be written on the English instructions. that's not always the case. So let's take a look, see what we find. Not there. So, in the absence of that, we will go ahead and suggest that at this point, take the number off of the keys, XX09 in this case, and just scribble that down on the instructions. Then if you have a file where you keep instructions or warranty information, you can put all that there, and you'll know what the key number is in case you ever misplace them. Alright, polybags get thrown away. These are all of the parts of the Dura 4 bike rack. If you have any questions about these parts, or you open up your rack and you're missing some parts, or something just looks different than you expected, you can call Softride, or you can contact the local dealer that you purchased this from. If you need help putting it together, you can contact your local bike shop. I'm sure they'd be happy to do it for a small fee, or a 6-pack of beer, or whatever your local bike shop likes to barter in. Anyway, thanks for taking a look at this. We appreciate your time. To see more video content, visit softride.com/video.